if I stop being who I am to survive, if I stop living as the person I became to survive, and am just me, is who I am already enough? Does anybody resonate with that? Does anybody feel that at all? I've told you a couple of times, I'm writing this new book. Amazing, amazing stuff. Even if it does mean that I'm crying like all the time, because it's breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, insight after insight, and God's love in our life. But it keeps bringing up the question, am I already enough? More importantly, if I really show the world the real me, will that be enough? Will that be accepted? I think we all know what it's like. I know I do. I remember so clearly sitting in, I don't remember exactly if it was a staff meeting or prep for worship before service, with the pastor that I was working under. And it wasn't that he was wrong. It was, well, and this, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but he was a baby. He had been a Christian for like 3 or 4 years. And there were nuances, not from a theological, kind of way, but from we too easily and too quickly teach people judgment in the church. And I wanted so badly to wrap my arms around him and say, I understand and I hear what you're saying, but that's not God. That accusation comes from the devil. I want everybody to hear that really clearly, okay? I have not intended at all to preach to you or go Christianing on you at all, just to tell you the story of, an event that happened to me when I was working as a worship leader at a church. But I want you to really hear that. If you are being accused of something, you are not hearing God's voice. God doesn't work that way at all. And we need to understand that. If you are being accused, judged, any of those kind of things, that's not God. That absolutely is not God. That's the other guy. And that's what's happened across our whole entire life. And most of them are not spiritual kind of things. Most of them are us fitting into the world in the way that we think we're supposed to. Hey, Carver, glad to have you here with us. Most of us are groomed almost to fit in. And that is really the worst thing that happens. It starts as little children and we tell them to go to school and be quiet, when really all they want to do is run around and go crazy. We get into the work world, and much like what I did with that pastor, we keep our mouths shut because we want to be respectful. And I'm not talking about a situation where, I needed to rail against the guy or anything like that. It was just purely a matter of there was something I could have brought to the table. And to fit in, to be appropriate, to be respectful to somebody that was, an overseer, a manager, if you will. And usually it's not even that we do anything, it's that we just don't say anything. And over time, we lose that little bit of us. We're more careful, more acceptable. We do the things that help us show up as polished and clear. We don't become fake. It's not like the real you, it doesn't exist. You're just functional. You've adapted to become the something that the world has told you is what you should be. And my question for you really is, what if you stopped bec- living as who you became to survive? Would that be enough? Have you ever looked back at your life and realized that some of the things that helped you survive might also be the things that are holding you back now? Does that ever impact you? I'd love to hear from you. I'm so grateful for the times we get to spend together every single day. I will be back here again tomorrow, and I hope you'll join me too. I hope you're happy. Hey, Koo, glad to have you here. I hope until we're together again next time, you have a great week.